Introduction to the Gospel of John. This Gospel was written by John, the disciple of Jesus, son of Zebedee, Mark 1:19. According to many Bible scholars, John preached this Gospel in AD. It was written in 70 to 90, but it is not certain what year it is. John was a disciple of Jesus who loves, John 13:23, 20:21. John was the closest of Jesus' 12 disciples. That is why John has written his deepest thoughts and sayings in this Gospel with a good understanding of Jesus' mind. John lived to old age. He lived in Ephesus for a long time. According to some, the Gospel was written there. John also wrote 3 letters of John in the New Testament. Towards the end of his life, John was deported to the island of Patmos in the Mediterranean Sea, Revelation 1:9, where he received a revelation of Christ, the full description of which is written in the last book of the New Testament, Revelation. The Gospel of John is different from the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. In the Gospel of John we can see and understand the mind and spirit of Christ most clearly. John describes in detail the nature of Christ. He wrote down what Jesus said about himself. I am the bread of life, John 6:35. I am the light of the world, John 8:12. I am the good shepherd, John 10:11. I am the door, Jonah 10:9. I am the true vine, John 1:15. I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. John describes the deepest discussions that took place between Jesus and his disciples. In particular, John is a complete gospel of what Jesus said at his love feast on the last night of his life, which is recorded in chapters 14 to 17. The Gospel of John teaches us much about the Holy Spirit. We learn that if the Holy Spirit of Christ does not dwell in us, we can do nothing for Christ, John 15:5. John has clearly shown us that only by the power of the Holy Spirit in the lives of believers can the work of Christ succeed in this world and move his church forward. When we first study the 3 Gospels and the Gospel of John together, we can find a complete gospel of Jesus' work and life. But gaining knowledge about Jesus is not enough for us. As you read this gospel, remember John's purpose in writing these things. He wrote these things so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by faith you may have life in his name. John 20:31.